Welcome to the show. This is the Crane Kick podcast, or at least I don't know what the fuck it is. Okay, I'm calling it the Crane Kick podcast right now because I got shit I want to say. Okay, I got shit I got to talk about. I just got a bunch of shit to talk about. Fucking, we got shit going on in NYC. We got shit going on in LA still. Okay, we still got ice raids out the fucking wazoo. And we still have issues in New York. By the way, congratulations, Zohran. Okay, Mr. Mom Donnie, Mr. Cardamom out there, himself. All right, with the fantastic Nani. All right, and that I'm not gonna make that joke. Oh, that's his grandmother. That's his grandmother. I cannot make a Punani joke. I cannot make a Punani joke. That's his grandmother. Um, But yeah, no, I just got a lot of shit to say. So I feel like, a long form spoken word thing might be easier. I don't expect too much organization out of this because I'm not a very organized person, for one, and two, I feel like I'm only going to justify as much work into this as I possibly can. And there's not much of a justification right now. I just feel like speaking, you know, and I feel like there are some things about the shit that I make that I need to say. There are some things that I need to talk about first and foremost. Just for anybody who might be curious about what I'm saying, about what I mean, about the reason I'm making certain shit, you know. But yeah, that is that's the cold open.
I pack a nine in my bag and I'm never lacking, never cashing. Don't let cash change how you acting. Blasting on the motherfucker laughing. What's happening?
Firstly, I want to talk about Zohran Mamdani. As I previously mentioned, he has just won the Democratic primary for New York, and he is on track to be potentially the next mayor of New York City. He given that he beat out Andrew Cuomo, it is likely that the race is going to be down between he and the Republican candidate. Now, of course, uh, uh, Andrew Cuomo has declined to take his failure in stride and doubled down, removing the Democratic party from his ticket and declaring his run as an independent. Eric Adams is declaring his run as an independent. So we do have two bigger independents in the race right now. But then again, okay, Eric Adams, hugely disliked mayor. You know, yeah, a lot of New York still has like positive sentiment maybe, but it's a certain kind of New Yorker that is really on Eric Adams' side. You know, like a lot of people a lot of people who don't understand what the fuck's going on are middling, and they don't really give a fuck. Most people don't really give a fuck, you know. But there's this broad swath of people that Zoran has captured with his campaign, and I think that there's a clear lean here. Okay, Eric Adams, notoriously corrupt, notoriously a fucking pig, notoriously fucking horrible for working class New Yorkers. Andrew Cuomo, notoriously fucking horrendous with working class New Yorkers. You know, the cop fondler himself. This is a man who's been accused credibly of multiple instances of sexual harassment, sexual misconduct. Okay, he has groped people, he has fondled people, a number of uncomfortable sexual impositions upon a number of women, one of them being a state trooper. All right, the cop fondler himself. So, because of the fact that he's lost, I'm just not taking it as like a high likelihood that he's going to win. Okay. Now, he might. Eric Adams or Andrew Cuomo might find a way to rat fuck their way, like past Democratic popular will. Kind of like in a Hillary Clinton-esque sort of way. You know, that's a thing that neolibs love doing when a progressive candidate has taken the forefront of the limelight and has become the main thing on everybody's mind. But I think that the thing that's more crazy than the fact that, in spite of Democratic will and the Democratic mandate, you know, for the nominee, they don't give a fuck. They don't care. They don't want a Muslim socialist to be a part of the you know, fucking the political process in any sort of recognizable extent. You know, it's bad enough for all these fucking horrible flesh fucking husks that we have people like AOC in office, or oh god forbid, fucking Ilhan Omar, okay, who's further to the left than AOC or Bernie, in a number of different ways, but chiefly on the issue of Israel Palestine. I'm not saying that they aren't like compatible with the way Ilhan Omar has been publicly vocal about. You know, I think they're compatible and sympathetic to Ilhan Omar's beliefs about the Israel-Palestine issue, to call it that, Israel's genocide. But I think that it's insane how, in tandem with these neoliberal fucking shills, okay, people who take fucking DoorDash donations to the tune of millions, fuck their city with gig economy fucking companies and corporate fucking backing. In tandem with these fucking people, the liberal news media has began doing what it did in the early fucking noughts. We've seen this resurgence of like classic fucking like war on terror rhetoric, like at home, you know, because we've always been, you know, war on terror, like since the first like big era of us like trying to rape the Middle East. We've had a war on terror like energy to any interaction with any bit of culture that is in any way adjacent to the Arab world. You know, it doesn't matter where they're from. If they're a Muslim, that's the kind of attitude we've had for so long. But it's crazy to see not only like people like Charlie Kirk, you know, just do what Charlie Kirk does and try to outflank Nick Fuentes on the white supremacy angle. But it's crazy to see fucking liberals essentially do the same shit, you know, with like a more sanitized, less explicit tone. Like instead of just saying, you know, 20 years ago, Muslims killed 3,000 people in New York. Today, a socialist Muslim is on track to take the mayoral seat in New York City. And like essentially that's what the liberal media is saying too, but they're just saying it more like, well, he's made many references to Islamic jihad and shit like that, talking about making the Intifada global, which is true, yeah, like yeah, one as a Muslim, yeah, and two as a leftist, yeah, this is there's a struggle that needs to be made. Okay, and I think that it can be made peacefully. It can be done through good policy, good legislation, good good leadership, and good empowerment through leadership of the common person. You know, this is something that the common person has to do for themselves. Like is necessary, and to me, that's what making the Intifada global is about. It's empowering the common person to take action against the powers that be, to take action against the fucking man, to take action in their own interests against the people that make their lives harder, that make their resources less attainable and less affordable, who hoard them and leech every bit that they possibly can from them. I just I'm so glad that we have somebody like Zohran in New York City, because a lot of people, like he said, in a speech not too long ago, a lot of people talk about New York as being the greatest city in the world, but they don't want rent control. They don't want kids to eat for free at school. They don't they don't want they don't want people working fast food jobs to be able to actually live in the city. They don't want anything in their city to be less convenient for them as fucking either upper middle class to upper class fucking bougie leeches. And I think that it's obvious what's going on. It's obvious what's going on. They know that somebody like Zohran is not going to bend the knee to companies like fucking DoorDash, to Wall Street, to any of these fucking ungrateful leeches that take government money and then do nothing for us as a people. And they know what he is. They know what he is, and what he is a mark of what's yet to come, which is popular public consciousness. Okay, that's what's going to happen, and that's what they don't want. That's what they don't want. That's why fucking college is unaffordable. That's why college is unaffordable, because they don't want an educated proletariat. And these aren't my words. I'm not the one making that as like a thing that they don't want. They are. They did. When we gutted free public higher education in the Reagan era, what did they say to justify it? They said, we cannot have an educated proletariat, that's dynamite. And then they claimed that because of the fact that that we were affording too many people, too many working class people, the opportunity of higher education, that we would create a glut of people who are highly skilled but unemployable. And that would create the conditions for fascism. And that was the justification. But the crumb of truth within that is the educated proletariat. Like, the external justification, the secondary justification in that, the economic, like, unemployment, stability centered justification, that was just like an afterthought to make it sound less like they were, engaging in class war. That's all it was. All of this shit that they say, all of these like economic arguments they make, they are fundamentally red herrings. They are class warfare trying to disguise itself so that it's not visible to you. Can't point it out and say, dude, this is class war. They don't want Zohran to come in and freeze rents because they know it's bad for the bottom line. They know that it's not like conducive to profits. What it is conducive to well-being. Okay? What it is conducive to allowing common people to afford a living in one of the most expensive cities in the fucking world. They don't want that. They don't want an affordable life for these people because an affordable life for them means an unprofitable life for the top. If things are affordable for you, it means that they can't profit as much off of it. It means that their profits are minimal. Their margins are average. They are not exponentially growing year over year because you're not. And they don't want to engage in any policy that may put you in a position where you grow exponentially because it's not short-term gain for them. It's not fast enough. Building up an economy through building up its community, building up its civilians, building up the bottom to the top. That doesn't enrich them quickly. That's a long game. Okay, that's long game, sensible, responsible public policy. And what that isn't is sexy to the capitalist. That is not something that the capitalist wants to hear. They don't want to hear, hey, if we do single payer healthcare, you know, it means that in the long run you don't have to pay as much on, you know, keeping your workforce healthy. You know, you don't have to spend as much keeping your workforce like insured at the very least, even if it's shit insurance like most places. They don't hear that and think, "Oh, that's a really good idea. That's a really good deal for me." They hear that and think that's communism. The next step is you take my company. The next step is I get put in a re-education camp because they are fucking freaks who think that the only way that they can possibly win is if you lose, and any sort of edge against the bottom line is an edge against them existentially. And this has been the case for a long time. Okay, this is why any sort of progressive action politically inevitably leads to bloodshed. Because there is a certain sector of our population, every population, that has functioned under a capitalist model that will take things to the point of death if it means that they don't have to sacrifice their wealth. It's these people are fucking demons. These people are leeches. They are barbaric, primitive fucking animals with lizard brains. Okay? Every single strategy they furnish is one which negatively affects you, disadvantages you, and benefits them at the expense of everybody else. And that's the only way they can succeed within their framework. You have to be deprived. It's not like an intentional like outcome, but they know it is the outcome. They know that you will be deprived. They know that the common person's life will be less stable and sustainable going forward, and resources will become ever the more difficult to obtain, and they're okay with that. They're okay with that. They don't give a fuck about that. They pay people to make bets on that and generate more money. Okay, stock traders actively are making money betting against you and your stability right now. They are betting that in 5 years, you will not be making as much as you are making right now. They are betting that in 5 years, you will not be able to feed yourself as well as you could right now. In 5 years, they bet that one of you might die. All the while, every bit of your resources that become harder to obtain become ever the more present for the rich and ever the more accessible for the rich. And that's what this is, you know? And on to our next topic, ICE deportations, which it coincides with this issue of class and labor, because the entire like motivating factor in a lot of instances for these, you know, anti-immigration, like punitive immigration policies that try to like manufacture this idea about what immigration is and what immigration should be, that it characterizes the entire issue as a criminal one, without acknowledging the fact that it could not be further from the truth. It is a civil issue. It is as criminal as a parking ticket. That is not very. It's an administrative thing. You go to a court, the judge reviews the thing, decides, and then people who are essentially immigration court meter maids, parking enforcement for the federal government, essentially. They decide they either deport you or they don't deport you, and that's immigration. It's a civil thing. It's down to court. It's down to the court and what the court decides, based upon, you know, one, precedent, but judicial, you know, discretion. A lot of times, you know, people, they might not be a citizen, but they're legal temporary residents at least. There are programs that the federal government has. But every bit of rhetoric about immigration for years has essentially been whittling down what a legal immigrant is to essentially just mean a citizen. Like, a lot of people are under the impression that an illegal immigrant is literally just a non-citizen. They think that if you immigrate here legally, what that means is you come here, take the citizenship test, and become a citizen. They do not think of it as like a long-winded process. They think of it as like, you know, a certain set of obligations you must meet, the minimum of which is being a citizen and coming here legally with the end goal being to become a citizen. And until that point, you are not here legally, you know? Because they don't give, like, I don't really think they give a fuck about how you got here, to be honest, because all of these different people are you know, getting deported, and most of them came here legally. Like, the bulk of these people coming here are legal or here legally. They are legally present within the United States. Like, some of the people who came here legally are here legally. Some of the people who came here illegally, I mean. Some of the people who came here illegally are here legally now. Because what is legal and isn't legal is not like a set of like things you have to meet. It's a court decision. It's a legal, it's a judicial. It is adjudicated. Your presence here is adjudicated. Like the entire foundation of one's like citizenship status or residency status or status of presence is based off of one or two conditions. No, three. Well, no, two. Birth or naturalization, adjudication. That's the entire thing. You're either born here or you were naturalized here. Or two, a judge said that you're here legally. And that's it. That's the kind, like, I know I'm a fucking idiot and there are probably like, you know, little edge cases and shit like, but like it's not that fucking hard to know that not everybody who isn't a citizen is illegal. But that's essentially the argument that we've generated. It's not like, it's an implied argument. It's an implied argument because they're claiming all of these people are illegal and the bulk of the people they are deporting are not illegal. They're just non-citizens. Like, we've had people picked up at their fucking naturalization hearings. We have literally had the government, okay, use naturalization hearings as a fucking snare trap for them to pick these people up before they become citizens and deport them and detain them, imprison them. This is what the fuck we do. We are taking fucking student protesters, student dissidents, okay? We are invalidating their visas. We're shipping them off. We are sweeping up permanent legal residents, okay? People who are either who have been given a green card, granted a green card and like had their day in court and you know, had been given a favorable reading by their judge. People who are here temporarily, who've been given a legal residence in a court of law. You know, non-green card holders. We've had people come here who are tourists. They have their fucking phones searched. And then when there's a bit of expression or speech on their phone, the federal government, like, for some reason does not agree with, they're then shipped off. And fuck, okay, before we even get into the fucking the current fucking the current term, okay, like, and what this means for citizens in the current term. Donald Trump's last term resulted in 70 U.S. citizens fucking being mistakenly, quote unquote, deported between 2015 and 2020. Like, 1 year of that could possibly be at the responsibility of Obama. The better part of 1 year. For 4 years. For 4 years. Over 50 U.S. citizens? 70 U.S. citizens between 2015 and 2020 within 5? What's going on now? You know? What's going on now? If this is what we are seeing then, you know, because of the fact that there has been a lot more scrutiny on the deportation and immigration issue with all of this illegal bullshit that the federal government is engaging in and that the Trump administration is engaging in. We're now seeing what the what the administration did last term, that we didn't have that opportunity of sensationalism to get any fucking coverage about. We didn't have the prospect of, you know, millions of people on the streets at a single given time. For 5 years, between 2015 and 2020, 70 U.S. citizens were deported. We removed legal fucking citizens, whether naturalized or fucking born. That is what this is. That's what it's leading to. And I guarantee you, they've surpassed that number by now. Just within this past 6 fucking months, they've surpassed that number. I fucking guarantee it. I guarantee it. They fucking surpassed that number. This is war. They're engaging in war against our fucking population. And that's what this is. And that's why I make the music that I do. That's why I do the things that I do. Because I need to express my discontent somehow. I need to express my anger somehow. You know? Whether that be my first fucking mixtape. Well, not my first mix, but like my second mixtape, The Court. You know, I think it's pretty obvious. The first fucking song on that thing was Reagan. But yeah, this is why I do what I do. Like, I cannot just experience this shit and go through life and doom scroll and then have nothing to show for any of what I'm feeling. So this is what I got. This is what I do.
Hey buddy, where you headed?
And I'm kind of trying to start branching into other content as well. Just because I'm bored. I've got time on my hands, you know? And it's better to have these impulses and lead them in a direction that creates and generates something. You know, even if it isn't like being consumed, really, because I know I don't give a fuck who watches this. I don't give a fuck about who hears this or anything like that. And the same goes with my music. I mean, there are some people I want to hear my music. You know, I do want success, but not at the cost of my own expression. That's generally like, you know. I love my expression. I love my expression. I would probably be less radicalized if it weren't for the fact that I know where this is going, and it's going to be coming from my expression at some point. You know, if it hasn't already, which, I mean, it has. Not in a way that directly affects me, but in a way that directly affects the principles that I hold with people that are less privileged than me and less representative of the hegemonic ideal that runs our fucking hellhole we call a country. But yeah, you know, I'm mad. I'm in a position where I'm not just I'm scared, but fuck fear. Like, I'm pissed off. And not just pissed off, I'm weirded the fuck out because these people are freaks. These people are freaks and they're getting more and more powerful every fucking day. So fuck yeah, I'm gonna make a song about Reagan being fucking pegged by Margaret Thatcher. Fuck Reagan. And fuck anybody who likes Reagan. Fuck you. Fuck your grandma. Fuck your uncle.
Luis, be careful.
And fuck Granny.
Not to judge me, Luis Lopez.
I'm gonna fuck your granny. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm just saying shit. But I've liked saying shit. Actually, I think this is enjoyable for me. Huh. Going over certain news items or topics, and then just riffing a little bit. I mean, because I've had some sort of organization of the ideas that I plan to go over. I mean, not really thorough. It basically boils down to a sticky note, like one of them, like, the sticky note program on Windows. I got one. It's just bullet points and general topics. Oh. We got through the first three. Here's the fourth one. Guess who the fuck's free? Mahmoud Khalil. Mahmoud Khalil is free finally. Who knows what comes next for that poor bastard? I'm glad that he's home. I hope he's having a wonderful time, and I hope that the next time the government tries to step on his toes, there's more of a public response. The next time anybody gets snatched up on our fucking soil, I hope some people do some shit. I'm just saying. I hope somebody does something. I'm sick of this shit. These people are talking about, like Mahmoud Khalil is a terrorist or some bullshit. They're claiming in every instance that the person being deported or being detained in wait to be deported is a criminal, gang member, terrorist, okay? Yet not one motherfucker is fired on a federal officer. Not a federal, fucking ICE cunt, ICE pussy, okay? Not a single one of these fucking ICE pussies has been shot yet by somebody trying to evade them and evade deportation. Why is that? They're criminals, right? They're terrorists. I don't know what you think of when you think of terrorism, but I think of car bombs. I think of car bombs. I think of drones made by computer nerds. I think of ingenuity and daring. I think of doing shit nobody's got the balls to do. And a little bit of fascism. There's a little bit of fascism in there. I'm gonna be for real. I mean, that's the dichotomy between terrorists. You got some terrorists that are daring, brave rogues who go beyond their time and do more than anybody else could do within their small station as an individual. And then there are fascists. Within terrorists, you've got two primary kinds, and it's either Luffy, or it's shit. It's either Luffy or it's it's another terrorist. It's either Luffy or it's either Luffy or it's Osama bin Laden. What other terrorists are there? They're bad. ISIS? ISIS is pretty shit. They're pretty fashy. They're fashed the fuck up. But typically, though, you would expect a terrorist to shoot somebody and kill the person trying to detain them. So I think I'm confused. I think I'm confused. I'm not too sure what a terrorist is if none of these people are killing these pig fucks. You know? I'm not saying they should. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Not saying they should. Just saying it makes no sense. I'm just saying it makes no sense. Man, that's about 40 minutes. It's crazy. I've just been yapping. I talk to myself, but this has been interesting. This has been better. Next time I feel like talking to myself, I'm just gonna start recording, and then we're gonna have a podcast, and it's gonna be crazy because I'm just gonna be yapping about nothing, and I can't wait for nobody to listen. You know what? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put GTA 4 gameplay over this. That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, that's what the podcast is gonna be. Me ranting about politics, momentarily talking about my music, and playing Grand Theft Auto 4. Don't know which one though. Don't know which one. I'm thinking like straight up classic. I'm in the middle of a game right now. I could play one of the episodes. I could play one of the Liberty City episodes. Lib City. Hillary Clinton is on the statue. Okay. It is Lib City, baby. Feeling libbed up right now. Think I might go watch some Mad Owl later. Oh. I'm gonna go watch some Mad Owl and crank my hog. That's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do after this. I hope you guys have fun. I hope you guys have had fun listening to me rant. But yeah, as I said, I'm going to go watch Maddo and crank my hog. So, I hope you enjoy this, and I hope I'm not playing Grand Theft Auto too horribly once I get it up there. So, yeah. Happy cranking.